I started doing TikTok, I just wanted to be my most authentic, genuine self. Lately, I have not been doing so. I've been lying to you all, which is why today I present to you Jolly's bite-sized guide to Five Nights at Freddy's. Let's begin. This is a 100-page PowerPoint summarising the key points of the Five Nights at Freddy's lore, designed for absolute beginners who have never heard of anything in the franchise before. So if you're as passionate as me about it, I'm going to be glazing over some things, okay? Just ignore it. This is the basics. You're either going to love it, or this is going to be 20 minutes of your life that you're never going to get back. I'm going to have to do multiple parts. I'm going to be focusing on the storytelling aspect of the timeline. Bear with, basically. A good context to know before we start. The games and the books are in a different continuity. Don't get it twisted. We can take things that happen in the books and apply the same rules to the games, but it's not the same. Boring shit done with. Let's begin. So we start with the main homies. Henry Emily and William Afton, the purple guy. That's quite important. And these two both have a passion for making robots and entertaining kids. They team up and create Fazbear Entertainment. Ta-da! Here is the Afton family tree. This is going to be very important. Get your thinking brains on. Mrs. Afton, we never hear anything about her. Purple guy, William Afton, the main dude. Then we've got his 3 kids. Oldest is Michael Afton. Then we've got the crying child, who never gets a name, and Elizabeth Afton, his youngest daughter. Location 1, Fredbear's Family Diner. So this opened sometime before 1983. We're not sure when. A second location was open at the same time as this one, opened after it, but they existed simultaneously. At this location we had Spring Bonnie and Golden Freddy. These are spring-lock suits. Now, a spring-lock suit is an animatronic robot where you can crank the inner endoskeleton to one side to be able to wear it as a mascot suit. Double function, doesn't work very well. Bear that in mind. Now, we don't have a game set in this location and we never really get to see it, apart from in the secret 8-bit minigames. So in this minigame, we see the crying child get teased by his brother Michael, so much so that he goes and puts his head in the jaws of Golden Freddy, the spring-lock suit. The mouth clamps down on his head, crushing him. But it's just a prank, it's just a joke. Is that the bite of 87? No, that is a bite of 83. Don't get it twisted, okay? Poor crying child goes on to possess Golden Freddy. And then the second minigame that we see in this location, which is Take Cake to the Children from FNAF 2. Where we see the purple guy rock up outside of Freddy's location. There's a kid stood outside, kills it. Dead child. What was the motive? We don't know. And then we see the same thing in the security puppet minigame in FNAF 6, where the kid's locked outside, dies, and then the security puppet, which is designed to look after the kids, bezzes outside thinking, there's a kid outside, this is my job, gives the corpse a little cuddle and possesses it. And that kid happened to be Charlotte Emily, which is Henry Emily, the co-owner. His daughter. Why did Afton do that? Your guess is as good as mine. Fredbear's Family Diner shuts after 2 kids die in it. The puppet and the spring-lock suits get stored at the second location. Yeah, it shuts. It shuts. But not for long, because we still have that second location. We meet the core 4 animatronics. Foxy, Bonnie, Freddy, and Chica. And then we've got the puppet and Golden Freddy in storage. But 2 dead kids on your hands can make you a little kooky. My guy just goes and kills 5 kids and rams them into the empty animatronic suits. The Chica was first, she was Susie, poor Susie. And then Gabriel into Freddy, Jeremy into Bonnie, Fritz into Foxy. And then the one you should not have killed, Cassidy. She was murdered a little bit more brutally than the others and rammed into the Golden Freddy suit. All these kids went on to possess the suits that they got rammed into, meaning that the crying child and Cassidy are just hanging out together inside Golden Freddy. Just a little bit awkward, can't lie. There wasn't enough evidence to convict him of it, so the bodies were just never found. Bloody excellent for William Afton. Side note, he used the spring bodysuit to lure the kids into the back and kill them. That's his fun little murder suit. So the second location shuts. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Volume 1 is closed. The core 4 are retired and used for spare parts. Golden Freddy and the puppet are put back into storage, but not for long, because then they open. Location 2, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza 2. These are the toy animatronics. These were created by Henry because he was like, people think that my robots are murdering people. So I'm going to make robots with extra security, with a facial recognition database, so if they see a paedophile, they're like, So he thought this might prevent any future murders. This opened in November 1987. We know that because of the paychecks in the game. The bite of 87 actually does occur here. One of the security staff get their frontal lobe bitten off by either Toy Chica or Mangle, not sure which, but he survives. He survives. And because the Core 4 animatronics were used for spare parts, these guys are a little bit kooky. Got a little bit of soul juice from the previous kids in them. Bro gets so jealous about Henry using the Fazbear name and being successful with it again that he just goes and kills 5 more kids. And he doesn't even try hide it this time. Just leaves the bodies on the floor. And then Henry gets so sick of his shit that he just despawns for like 30 years. We hear nothing about him. And this dumbass finally realises that the suits are getting possessed. After another 5 kids dies, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza 2 shuts. They just abandon this one. But not for long, because William decides he needs to make a comeback with some new animatronics. Circus Baby's Pizza World. It was only open one day because these animatronics are just hella sus. They can mimic the voices of other things. We'll get to that later. There is a child-sized cavity in their belly. If you look at the actual blueprints in the game, there is a child in there. Bro was planning to kill people with these animatronics. And we finally have a motive behind why he's doing this. Because this guy has finally discovered that the suits are getting possessed, he discovers a thing called Remnant. Now, Remnant is basically where the soul juice of a dead thing fuses with metal to create like metal soul juice. So these robots are designed to capture children to perform these experiments on so he can figure out how to get his son back. Got it? Moving on. Now, his daughter gets a little bit too close to Baby one day and gets scooped on the opening day. And then she goes to possess Baby. And we know this because her eyes change from blue to green, the same colour as his daughter's eyes. Here we are with the Afton family tree now. William Afton, purple guy. Mrs. Afton, forget about her. Michael Afton's a little bit older. Crying child in Golden Freddy. Elizabeth Afton is inside Baby. Now, William is in his mad scientist era. He's got 2 dead kids. He wants to bring them both back to life. So he subjects his final kid to some crazy ass experiments, trying to figure it out with remnant and scooping and hallucinogenic gas. This dude is a bad dad. He's a terrible father. We're in 1993 now, and William is looking for materials for his little experiments by going back to the old location, the abandoned one, and harvesting the metal to collect the remnant to do his experiments. So he keeps going back, getting more. What could go wrong? He had the clever idea of mixing all the different soul remnants together, just wanging them in these guys. Specifically, probably Funtime Freddy. Meaning, all these souls are just like sort of partially buzzing around in there. Bro went back to the location to get more remnant, even after he's already dismantled all the suits, really. Setting the souls free. To try and get more, because he really cannot stop himself from doing these experiments at this point. He's too deep in. So now the spirits are all set free in this little pizzeria. They're chasing him about. He's really scared. He runs to his old Bonnie suit. He gets in the Bonnie suit and he's like, fuck you all. I'm safe in here. Bro gets spring locked. Ow. The endoskeleton clamps down on every single one of his bones, crushing him entirely. Rest in peace, William Afton. Because of budget cuts, Fazbear Entertainment's then just sealed his dead body in the suit behind a concrete wall and just said, let's just pretend that didn't happen. Let's just ignore that. I'm sure that won't come back and bite them in the ass. Cut to Michael as the last remaining Afton. He goes back down to the mad scientist bunker to finish the experiments that his dad started in an attempt to get his family and his siblings back together. Plot twist, the Funtimes trick him, and they've actually all combined their bodies together into one body called Ennard. They scoop out Michael's insides, replace his bones with them, and just keep living. So that is Ennard wearing Michael as a skin suit, just carrying on, while Michael's body rots around it. Eventually, he goes purple, Ennard decides that he's too rotten to live in anymore, and just bezzes off into a sewer and leaves Michael's rotting corpse on the floor. But not for long, because he just gets back up. Bro possesses his own body and gets up and just carries on living. Although he is absolutely filled with vengeance now for his dad because he's just absolutely messed up his entire life. Valid. So, the Afton family tree. Mrs. Afton, forget about her. William Afton is now Springtrap, dead in a suit. We have Baby, we have golden Freddy, and we've got a purple Michael Afton. It's such a good looking family right now. So Michael just carries on living and gets security jobs on the night shift at most of their past locations in search for his dad. And that's where we get to Fazbear Frights! Yay! So this is in 2023, the year of our Lord, right now. So somebody has bought the abandoned location and turned it into a horror attraction based on the events happening under the Fazbear name. They find Springtrap behind the concrete wall and just use him as a prop in the attraction. How fun! Turns out he's not dead, he's possessed himself. Sidebar. In this game, we get the happiest day mini-game. I thought this was worth an honourable mention. It might have happened. It's an ending where this does happen, and an ending where this doesn't happen. And we see the puppet give cake to all the other souls, and then they have a birthday party where the bodies disappear, the masks drop, and the balloons float up, signifying that the souls are free and restful at last. But as I say, that might not have happened. Michael burns the place down, with him and his father in it, finishing everything, burning them too. All the souls are laid to rest. The end. But not for long! They survive. Meanwhile, Ennard splits into Scrap Baby and Molten Freddy. So these are all the dead kid spirits, and obviously they're very anti-Afton. Whereas Elizabeth, she loves her dad. She goes off on her own. And also, the puppet is now in Lefty. Henry is back, and he has created Lefty to lure, encapsulate, fuse, transport, and extract his daughter's soul to get her back. So now Charlie Emily is the puppet, is Lefty. Got it? Broby cooking. Please come and work at my new, totally not suspicious pizza place. XOX, totally not Henry. Okay, so now we've got these guys. Charlie Emily, his puppet is Lefty. We've got the missing kids. There are five dead kids, maybe more, in there. We've got Baby and we've got Springtrap. All get invited to this little party by Henry. And they just go, you know what? Okay, Michael's there too. Michael is security guard. LMAO, JK, I'm gonna set you all on fire for real this time and put an end to all this. Cue epic monologue. Then their souls are all dead and they can all finally rest in peace. The end. But not for long! Ultimate Custom Night. In this game, we see Cassidy, the one you should not kill, the one that got brutally murdered. She's created an eternal purgatory to torture William Afton's soul till the end of time with the souls of all his victims. Here's where it should have finished. Full stop. What a lovely rounded off story. But it didn't. FNAF went meta. Fast forward a couple of years and forget everything I just told you, because some silly bastard decided that Fazbear did a reboot and hired an indie game developer to make games of the events of Five Nights at Freddy's to make light of the situation. Meaning that everything that I've just talked about is potentially a video game, in-game, and not real. The company recycled old programming to speed up the process. Surprise! William Afton uploaded his entire consciousness into a circuit board, which they then put into the game. Tom Dog, what are you still doing here? This is Glitch Trap, by the way. He's up to his old tricks. In his bunny suit, luring the beta testers into the back on the VR headsets, like, come here. They follow him, and he's trying to recruit them into his new little cult, the Glitch Trap cult. I don't know what he's trying to do, but he's trying to do something. He fails with one guy though, Jeremy, again, who cuts his face off to try escape the Glitch Trap virus. But he does succeed with Vanessa, another rabbit. Vanessa is the security guard at the Pizzaplex. We'll get to that in a second. And she becomes Vanny when she is possessed by the Glitch Trap virus. Now we have reached Security Breach, where we meet Gregory. He's potentially a former Glitch Trap victim. He's really good at computers. He might be a robot himself. Proper annoying. And here we have the Glamrock animatronics. Synopsis of the game. So Gregory is trapped inside the Pizzaplex. Don't know how or why, he just is there overnight. Vanny and the other animatronics want him dead. Don't know why. But Freddy helps to keep him safe because Freddy's in safe mode for some reason. So then we go around stealing body parts from the other animatronics to upgrade Freddy so we can just be really OP and get the hell out of there. And then there are 8 endings to this game, none of them relevant. This is the only ending that is fully animated and described as the true ending in the files. The homies go down under the Pizzaplex to find the FNAF 6 pizzeria. That's the one that Henry burnt everybody in. Holy fazballs, Gregory. And guess who they happen to bump into? This motherfucker. But he's looking in a right state now. Also, this mess of lost souls and remnant, actually just called the Blob. Dude gets burnt again and survives again, because then this happens where the Blob just comes along, nabs off with Burn Trap. Gregory and Freddy just think, we best get out of here, and they skedaddle off into the sunset. But ignore all that, because this is probably the canon ending instead. The Princess Quest ending. There are 3 arcade games hidden throughout the pizzeria when you play Security Breach. If you finish them all, you play as this little sprite that was called Cassidy in the game files, but they changed it, so we don't know if it is meant to be Cassidy or not. You play as this little princess, killing these glitch trappy looking things, and if you complete them all, you get an ending where Vanessa gets freed from the virus. And as part of this ending, don't ask, but Freddy is just ahead now. I am so sorry, but we are about to enter even worse territory. This is so confusing, because we're in Ruin, the new DLC, where we meet Cassie, not Cassidy. Different person. She's Gregory's mate. Her dad works for Fazbear Entertainment, and she loves Roxy. That's all we know about her. Girl goes to find Gregory. The Pizzaplex is just not good. Monty's just a feral dog at this point. And the Vanny network is a thing. When Vanessa was Vanny, she wore this mask. And then in Ruin, we find this mask just hanging about the Pizzaplex. So Cassie puts it on, and you basically enter a whole augmented reality where this guy is following you around, the Mexus. Don't know what it is. We think it's scary, think it's trying to kill you the whole game. And Cassie gets girl boss gaslighted into once again going under the pizzeria to find Gregory, who is talking to her through the little walkie-talkie. But first, she has to deactivate her favourite animatronic and only friend. It's a very upsetting scene, actually. She goes down and deactivates Mexus, which actually turns out to be the only thing protecting us from the Mimic. It's from the books. IRL Ellie will explain. Thank you, Computer Ellie. So the Mimic is basically a character from the books. It parallels one of Henry's creations. Basically a mismatched jumbly animatronic that runs off the Mimic programming. Just copies whatever you do in front of it and it does it. Okay? It's just mimicking. The Mimic could have just been copying Afton this whole time. Just copying all his previous actions. It could have all been the Mimic. Cue epic chase. Surprise, shorty. Gregory ain't here. Yeah, Gregory hasn't been speaking to her this whole time. It was actually the Mimic. At some point during this chase, Roxy is still apparently alive. Jumps in, gets pelted out of the way. It buys her some time. And then she probably gets killed. And then we have 3 endings to the DLC. The Brazil ending. You do the chase, and then you stop, put the mask on, and then you just see this. He's just sat on a hill. Gregory, Helpy, I've not even mentioned Helpy, and Vanessa on a hill, all just having an ice cream. Lovely, right? Wrong. She's probably dead. It's probably just an illusion that she's seeing. Distract herself from the fact that she's probably being torn apart by the Mimic. Ending 2. Gregory and Vanessa decide that she's seen too much. And then she gets into an elevator and they just cut the cable. You've seen too much. Bye-bye. You gotta die now. And then right at the end, we mysteriously hear Roxy's voice go, Cassie? But that could also be the Mimic. Ending 3, the Scooper ending. You might remember the Scooper from way back in the Mad Scientist bunker where Michael Afton got his inside scooped out. Yeah, that's back here. Why is the Mimic wearing a lion costume? We don't die in this one, we just get sort of locked in a room and then left and then it cuts to the credits. What happens? Don't know. So what now? If the first games are just recreations of events, is Afton even real? Was it all just a Mimic all along? I hate that plotline with a passion. Things to look forward to at least. We've got Help Wanted 2 on the way, which is another VR game, which I think is going to be based Circus Baby's Pizza World. Watch this space. And the film, which is yet again going to be another continuity. I love this franchise. Any questions? Drop them in the comments below. I can't actually hear you guys. Thank you for watching. I'm so sorry that you had to endure that. So I didn't force you. People have been forced to watch this PowerPoint previously, but you had the choice and you made it to the end. Congratulations. Have some exotic butters.